Frustration better than laughter? Mourning better than happiness? Man, what's wrong with this king? Stay tuned. Hi, my name is David Niave from 3 Nail Studios. Again, we continue this walk and this journey through Ecclesiastes. We'll be going over chapter 7 and 8. He starts off with saying something so subtle. A good name is better than fine perfume, and the day of death better than the day of birth. What does that even mean? Well, look around us. Many times we go through life and we don't remember the good things of people until when they have died. We remember their good name. We don't remember as where they were alive. We only remember their name, and when they die, we reminisce on their life. It says that it is better to go to a house of mourning. It is more wise to do that than to go to a party, to a feast. It says frustration is better than laughter. Think about it. When you're laughing and happy, you overlook a lot of things because you're happy, you're in that moment. But when you're frustrated, when you're mourning, you get to focus and think about those times. You get to think about what to do next. You're wise. Your wisdom increases because you're able to learn from those moments. Now, it says that God has made both things. He's allowed both things to happen because that is the way that we humans might learn from one another, from one thing to another. It says wisdom in verse 11 is like an inheritance. It's a good thing and benefits those who see the sun. Wisdom is a shelter, like money is a shelter in verse 12. It says, consider this, nothing can be made straight that is crooked. You're going to be going through life, and as we're looking at this, there's going to be moments where life is going to hit you. It's going to be tough. It's going to be hard. I was just having a conversation about this. When you're trying to do the right thing, other things seem to happen, and you just want to scream and yell out there to the abyss and say, why is this happening? God looks down and says, learn from it. Because when you were laughing and partying, you couldn't focus and even think about this. I have allowed certain things to happen so you can stop and think about it. Isn't that interesting? When we are happy, people that are always happy and partying, we're like, man, I want to be like that. Yet they overlook basic things of life, that life is short. But when you're mourning and down, you get to think. Chapter 7 is getting you to think. When you are down, think about what to do next. Don't overlook those moments and put them to the side and say, God, why is this happening? But more, ask God, what do you want me to learn from this moment? At work, a lot of times we find ourselves in these moments. Just listen to this. Are you ready? Verse 21. Do not pay attention to every word people say, or you may hear your name being cursed, or you being thrown under the bus. For you know in your heart, you have done that many times yourself. What happened? What's the shift? What he's saying is, don't go through life trying to listen to everything. I find myself in the past trying to figure out, well, what does this person think of me? What does this person think of me? You know what? Many times people will not think good things of you. And you know what? That's okay because you don't think the good things about them all the time. The writer is saying, don't carry that burden with you. Don't try to be pleasing everyone. Don't try to make everyone happy because you won't. There's only one that you should be trying to please. There's only one that you should care about what he thinks about you. And we already know what that is. As we finish chapter 7, this only I have found. God created mankind upright, but they have gone in search of many schemes. Chapter 7 closes off with saying, God has made everything good, but we have made everything bad. Now, I've heard many people say, that is why I can't read this book. Because why does this book say that I'm so bad? Well, it's not what the book is saying. It's only revealing what is there. But what it's saying is, God has made everything good. And if he's made everything good, and we attach ourselves to God, then we can become better. As we get into chapter 8, again, talking about the wise, wisdom, he says, obey the king's commands. Now, obviously, he's the king, so he would want people to obey him, right? Well, isn't that what kings want? But remember, he's trying to get you to focus to the true king. He's saying, obey his commands. What would he benefit from you obeying besides your only benefit? Think about it. There are many commands, many rules out there. If you obey them, you will stay a clear path. If you start going left and right on places that you shouldn't, things are not going to work out. So stay within the realm that the king has set up and you will benefit. We live in a time, in a world where we just want to know what's going to happen, what's the future bringing. Verse 7 in Ecclesiastes 8 says, since no one knows the future, who can tell someone else what is to come? Verse 8, as no one has power over to contain the wind, so no one has power over the time of their death. As no one is discharged in a time of war, so wickedness will not release those who practice it. If you find yourself in a moment, in a situation in time where you can't get out of, figure out how you got in there, why you're there, and think about this. Is it my own decisions that have gotten me here? How do I get out of this? But it says no one knows the future. Stop trying to figure out what the future will bring and focus on the present. He's trying to get you to come back again. It's not saying don't think about future plans and put them to the side and just live this life without cares in the world. No, that's not what it's saying. And I want to make sure I make that point. Because the Bible is not a book that you just walk blindly with. And that is the frustration that I see that many people have about this book. Oh, it's a book that you just walk blindly with it and things will just work out. No. What this book is trying to tell you is life is hard, the future is hard, it's going to be tough, but there's only one path that brings blessings and wisdom, and that is through God. The king says, think about this, this king had the ability to have everything at his disposal. In verse 9 it says, all this I saw as I applied mind to everything done under the sun. There is a time when a man lords it over others to his own hurt. Then too I saw the wicked buried, those who used to come and go from the holy place and receive praise. In the city where they did this. This too is meaningless. In verse 10, what he is saying, as we look back in time, those who were praised in moments, for some reason, this king is aware of all the things they did. Think about that. We look up at people and we say, man, that person is so good, but we don't know everything about them. But yet we put this burden to try to be like them. Walk around this life and realize that none of us are righteous. None of us are good. But yet we can be good trying to make this life together and working with people. Yes, some of us, like in verse 7 says, we'll talk about us, but that's okay because you do the same thing. As we continue this journey, walking through Ecclesiastes, just think about this king. He has the ability to do everything. In verse 16, as he's getting ready to close this chapter, he says, when I applied my mind to know wisdom and to observe the labor that is done on earth, people getting no sleep day or night, verse 17, then I saw all that God has done. No one can comprehend what goes on under the sun. Despite all their efforts to search it out, no one can discover its meaning. Even if the wise claim they know, they cannot really comprehend it. The famous quote, the famous words echoed, what is the meaning of life? We can try and figure it out. We can try and figure out what is the point. Can we truly just be hanging in the universe out there and just say, oh, we're just here and we're gone? We cannot understand that. We cannot comprehend it. I leave you with this thought. Stop trying to figure out what is the meaning of life and try to figure out what is the meaning of your life in God's path. Stay tuned as we continue the walk Ecclesiastes. Comment down below, like us, share, and again, continue to watch these videos as we take this walk. Once again, my name is David Niave from 3Nail Studios. Until next time.